welcome back on the channel. As you can see, we have our first Lexus. Here today it's the IS in 300h or hybrid configuration. A sight quite common here in Romania, at least compared with some other models from Lexus. It goes against the trio from Germany and also Volvo, why not, being quite a premium offering from the Japanese manufacturer Toyota. The car in question today is manufactured in 2017, and it has done about 92,000 kilometers until now. Now we should try to understand what does the 300h means, the hybrid, because it is based on the Toyota Camry system, and that means that we have a petrol engine with 2.5 liters, naturally aspirated actually, with 4 cylinders, and a couple of electric motors embedded in the eCVT gearbox. The power goes only to the rear wheels. On this case, there is an available model with all-wheel drive, but we only have the rear-wheel drive model today. The overall system output, and I hope that I'm not butchering the numbers because they are quite a lot in typical Toyota fashion. The output of the system is 220 horsepower and the same amount of Newton meters in terms of torque, which is a bit odd because only the petrol engine develops 180 horsepower and 220 Newton meters. So where's the electric part? Well, the electric motor that actually drives the rear wheels develops by itself 140 horsepower and about 300 Newton meters. But in typical eCVT fashion, or hybrids with eCVT, those numbers do not add up, so that's why the total output is, as I said, 220 with 220 in terms of Newton meters as well. So yeah, the overall specs are something like 200 kilometers per hour in terms of top speed, and the sprint happens in about 8.6 seconds. For a 1.6 ton vehicle, it's not bad, but obviously it's not amazing. Where the model does have some advantages is in terms of fuel economy, but I'll talk more about that in the driving part of the review. I can say by now, yeah, inside the city you'll see values lower than outside the city, and most of the time they're around 5 to 6 liters per 100 kilometers. Maybe a bit more on the highway, something like 7 to 8 liters, obeying the speed limit, obviously. But as I said, not even that, in my opinion at least, is the main aspect of the car. It's actually the design, and on some level the quality inside the car as well. Because comparing this one with the Germans or the Swedes from Volvo, I mean, come on, look at it. It's an interesting design. It's not that common here in Romania. It's an elegant car, and to be honest, it's not even its final form, because they do have some F-Sport models which are even better looking, in my opinion. So yeah, it is quite a hard choice in this class of vehicles. You got the idea. Now let's see something interesting in the trunk area. Even though we have a premium vehicle, the opening of the trunk is not electrical, and the spring is quite hard actually, and it does not have a stop in the upper part, which makes the whole trunk area seem a bit weird, but anyway. Yeah, the usual carry-on luggage is in there. I reckon you can fit about 4 or 5 carry-on luggages like this one, because we do not have all that much space on height actually. We only get a pocket on the right side of the trunk area, and under the boot floor it's actually some storage space, but it's something like that. You can squeeze some, I don't know, tire fit components or something like that. But the interesting part, it's up here. As you can see, it's one of the fewer models nowadays, at least, which come with a cover on the upper side of the trunk area. Interesting. It resembles the noise insulation inside the car actually. Now let's check out the interior, and I do have to mention the ease of use of the doors and the trunk lid. Actually, they do open and close really easily, which is a nice feeling. And being a premium car, yeah, we do have soft materials up here. They're not the softest, but nevertheless they're fine. Again, something soft on the armrest with an interesting decor element. This lever, I'm not really sure about it. Doesn't scream premium, but anyway. And we do not have a pocket on the door card, only here on the seats. Couple of vents here in the back, a light fixture, and the central armrest, which houses a couple of cup holders that are actually adjustable. It seems like today I got my pants right, because with this color of interior, yeah, you would not want to be seated inside this car with jeans on you, unless you want to do detailing inside the car pretty often actually. But yeah, considering the space inside the car, I mean, with the front chair after the B pillar of the car, I do have a palm of space for my knees, about 3 fingers for my head actually, and yeah, I can stretch my legs. The bench is not, it's a bit short, it's not for me at least, but I do miss a palm of space for my under thigh support. But even so, for a sort of a compact car in Lexus range, I mean, it's more than fine back here. The only downside is the central tunnel, but something to be expected because the car is rear wheel driven after all. Now let's check out the passenger side. Obviously the door card is gonna be similar in terms of materials, a bit softer on the armrest, the same decor element with the plus that you can lock or unlock the doors from the inside, and you have a storage space. The seat itself, it's electrically adjustable, but it does not have a lumbar support. It should have been here. Weird, anyway. Compared with the ones from the back, these here in front are actually actively cooled. And yeah, I do have to mention the leather. It's quite soft. I'm not sure if it's the same as the one in the Jaguar, in the F-Type, but close enough, to be honest. The only downside is that we are not able to extend the base of the seat. Once again, the ease of use in terms of closing or opening the doors, and with a nice door closing sound, obviously. But get this, if on the armrest it's sort of for soft materials, sort of a soft material, here on the central console it's even softer. I mean, look at it, which is a nice surprise and interesting to see. I can rest my knee here without a doubt for 1000 kilometers and I will not get hurt actually. In terms of space, yeah, I do have a couple of fingers of space, which is more than fine, and the glove box, it's quite deep and it's covered all the way. At last, as usual, let's check out the driver's side, and yeah, we do have electric windows and they do have auto function, all of them, but again, the material here, Not ideal. You control also the outside mirrors from here, and you have memory function for the driver's side of the chair, of the driver's side. Plus, as I said, it's the lumbar support here, but it's only a two-way, a bit strange. Anyway, on the left side of the steering wheel, you control the steering column, the light of the dashboard. Something interesting with this command, you can turn off or adjust the volume of the noises that a car makes inside the cabin, which resemble an engine sound. A bit weird. We'll see more about that in the driving part. Then we have the heated part of the windshield, which is only on the lower part heated. We have a blind for the rear windshield and the parking sensors, and this one is the blind spot monitor. Let's take a seat inside the car, and actually I'm gonna start it as well because it's still quite hot today. Anyway, this is the driver POV. The steering wheel feels a bit sporty actually, but it's quite thick here in the central. The engine just kicked in because it doesn't have to start every time you start the vehicle. On the left side of the steering wheel, you control the multimedia system, and on the right side you control the gauge cluster. You have the cruise control here, flappy paddle gearbox, even though it's a eCVT, regular stocks for wipers and lights, and the gauge cluster. It does have an interesting design. It shows you the water temperature at least. It does have on the left side a power meter, and on the central there are a couple of informations. Not impressive, honestly. But look at the left side of the steering wheel. When I switch the car to sport mode, it turns into a RPM meter. Come on, that's cool. In my opinion, at least. I really like it. Going further with the interior, we have the light control up here. The mirror, it's dimmable, but it does have a small frame. And talking about nice materials, here on the ceiling of the car, it's actually one of the softest materials, textiles, that I found inside the car. And yeah, it feels quite posh actually. The whole ceiling is like this. So yeah, I like it. The infotainment screen is not amazing. Yeah, back in the day, Toyotas and Lexus aren't known for their infotainment screen. You control it by using this sort of a mouse function. It's a magnetic operated, a bit weird. You can get used to it, but yeah, I wouldn't bother, to be honest. Then we have a analog clock, a nice touch. The climate unit, which can be used to not blow directly in your face, which again is something to be appreciated. But even though we have physical controls, the temperature is operated by this touch control, and you can also slide it. Yeah, alright. It's better than the touchscreen, but anyway. Then you have the infotainment part with the navigation micro SD card in here, heated and ventilated seats, and heated steering wheel, the gear selector, the driving mode selector, EV mode, the activation of the stability control, and a snow mode actually. The center armrest houses some storage space and a couple of USB ports. Then we have a couple of cup holders that are not adjustable, unfortunately, so you might hear this bottle while driving. And this part is exactly for this controller, and you have a couple of enter buttons on either side with some shortcuts in here. Yeah, mixed feelings, to be honest, about the interior of the car. Welcome to the driving part of the review, today with the Lexus IS. And it's an odd one. It's an interesting model, nevertheless, but it's a bit odd in some regards. You'll see more in a bit. So my first impressions, it's quite a comfortable car. It's sort of a unique car here in Romania. It does gather a lot of looks, and I like it for that. I appreciate the design on the outside, at least. On the inside, I'm not really sure, to be honest. But yeah, the whole feel, it's quite a complete car. You could use it inside the city without a problem, and even outside the city on longer trips. You might struggle with the trunk space, but it depends if you do have children or not. But other than that, yeah, it's an interesting one. It's quite comfortable, to be honest. We do have only 18 inches in terms of wheel sizes, so obviously that one helps. But it's comfortable over longer stretches of uneven surfaces, and on potholes at least. But if you find something that's short and quite abrupt, it will upset the suspension, to be honest. Yeah, the noise levels as well, they're quite good. I'm impressed. They're on par with premium manufacturers, other premium manufacturers. They could have done something a bit better in the lower part of the cabin, but for the most part it's alright. Even though we don't have double-sided windows, the noise levels inside the cabin, as I said, are quite good, decent. And we don't even have, as I said, larger wheels than 18 inches, so that's why I'm saying it could have been better on the lower part of the vehicle. But even so, considering all the package, I'm pleased with the way the car handles itself. The gearbox, it's a bit odd, but you have to understand it, you have to get used to it. If you're driving normal, without sprints, without reaching some higher speeds, the gearbox, it's almost like it's non-existent, which makes the whole driving experience quite effortless. Other than that, yeah, the brakes feel normal, even though they do have a component of regenerative braking. Oh, and the steering feel, it's interesting. It was quite a nice surprise as well, because in the 2017, when this model was manufactured, It was quite a rare sight to have a hydraulic system for the steering assist, or at least not a completely hydraulic system. It's a combined electric with hydraulics, which I only saw, if I remember correctly, on Volvos, because we had a XC60 in the family, and that one was with the same system, but that car was from 2016. Anyway, about there. And yeah, I do feel the road, it's quite precise. If you switch the car to sport mode, it gets a bit stiffer, even further. So again, it's a pleasant surprise, to be honest. Yeah, those are the first impressions. I do like the car. I'm gonna say it right off the bat. It's a bit quirky, it's different from Europeans, what they're offering. And in a way, it's a good thing, in other ways, not so much. And this brings me to the things that I do enjoy about driving this one, and the things I'm not impressed. Let's start with the positives, because yeah, I would put down the whole driving feel. The way the car handles itself, even though it's only rear-wheel driven. The steering feel, the leather inside the car, which, yeah, I know it could have been aging a bit better, but it depends on how it was maintained and used, so maybe that's not necessarily relevant. But the feel of the material is quite nice, as it's the plush ceiling of the car, and the pads here for my knees. I really like those. So yeah, those are the things that I'm a fan of, to be precise. And obviously the fact that it's quite a reliable system and fuel efficient. More on that in a bit. In terms of the things that I'm not necessarily a fan of, I would have to mention the small things like the materials that they used for the electric windows, the switches. They could have done better, to be honest, and it's a component that you touch very often, so yeah, it's a shame, to be honest. The infotainment screen, the infotainment system overall, I'm not even gonna bother. I don't necessarily get along with it. Probably I would if I owned the car, but nah. And it doesn't even have Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, so I would be stuck using it, so nah, not a fan. Not a fan of the cup holders as well, because all the things in there are quite loose and they rattle from time to time. But to be honest, that's pretty much it. So yeah, no EV mode, because I'm driving too fast. Anyway, oh yeah, and the seats. I almost forgot. I'm missing the extension of the seat base. So yeah, for my height and weight, that's a bummer. Other than that, well, not much to talk about. I should refer to the maintenance until we're gonna be able to do some sprints with the car. Even though it's a hybrid and it's only an naturally aspirated engine, you'll be better off to do the regular maintenance at about, I don't know, 8,000 kilometers, especially as you might use the car inside the city, and the start-stop system of the car will kick in quite often. So yeah, it's better off this way, so you don't run into typical hybrid problems. Let's see what else. Yeah, some spark plugs at around 50 to 60,000 kilometers. The gearbox could benefit from an oil change at around, I don't know, 80 to 100,000 kilometers. And I guess that's pretty much it. About the gearbox, it doesn't have auto hold, which is a bit odd because I thought that Toyotas had them, but anyway, another thing that I'm not necessarily a fan. But anyway, going back to the maintenance, it's not gonna be a problem in terms of tires, brakes, or even suspension, because the car is not that heavy at 1.6 tons. So yeah, not much to talk about. The overall cost of ownership, it's gonna be quite decent, even though it's a premium car, because the fuel consumption is actually great considering the performance and the size of the engine. Something like 5 to 6 liters inside the city and outside the city as well. A bit more on the highway because it's not so efficient on highway speeds. You most likely see something like 7 to even 9 liters outside the city on highway, but it depends on your driving style, obviously. But even so, for the most of the time, you'll have lower costs with this one compared with some of its competitors. So yeah, quite an interesting and appealing choice, actually. Now I'll do the sprint, and actually I'm gonna double the sprint as well, because I want to try the two different modes of the car, and I'm gonna try to explain a bit in depth the operating modes of the gearbox. So to start, I'm gonna switch the car to sport mode. I switch the gearbox to sport mode. It does show S3, but it's not a third gear because the engine is off right now, and to be honest, I doubt that you could drive at, let's see, 10 kilometers per hour with the third gear. So let's go to first gear, and let me actually turn on the noise, the engine noise inside the cabin, and let's see. That's it. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it on for a moment. So the gearbox is a bit weird because you don't feel anything. Obviously it doesn't have any gears, so there's nothing to feel. Even though it shows that it's changing gears, they're not there, they're just from the software. And yeah, I could use the flappy pedals on the steering wheel to go through the six gears that it shows me. But it's not a natural feeling, to be honest. I could reduce the speed, and the car stays in 6th gear, and now it revved without changing gear. If I left off, the revs go down, and I can slow even further. I don't have anybody in my back. Now I can start accelerating again, and the car shows the 6th gear as well. So yeah, it accelerates a bit slower, but that number, it's actually sort of an interval, because if I am changing down, as you can see, the revs are building, and I do feel sort of an engine brake. But to be honest, it doesn't go all the way to the red line, to 6,000 RPMs in the 2nd gear. So I'm not really sure at what speed I could achieve with the 2nd gear. Yeah, anyway, it's a bit weird, as I said. If you leave it in drive, it behaves completely different, and something more in line with the typical CVT or eCVT. It revs, and it holds the rev at the optimum RPM that the gearbox thinks you need to keep the engine in order to get the most out of it. In a way, that's the downside of the CVT, because you always hear the same noise inside the cabin. But on the other hand, it's the thing that makes them that efficient. And yeah, they're quite comfortable inside the city, as I said, or at a constant speed, because you don't have any gears, you don't feel anything. So yeah, an interesting concept. And if you understand it, if you are used to it, it's more than fine to use in an everyday car, to be honest. It's not the quickest, this one, obviously, but it's hard to judge because you don't really hear the engine in line with the speed gain. So yeah, it's a bit weird, but you can get used to it without a doubt. Alright, so now I'll turn around, and actually let me switch off the noises of the artificial noise that's pumped inside the cabin. I'm gonna switch the car to normal mode. The gearbox is in drive, and when I turn around, I'm gonna do the sprint once again towards 100 kilometers per hour. Pay attention to the noises of the real noises of the engine. That's it. It seems like nothing happens because you have the constant RPM. You do hear the noises from the tires increase, but other than that, no drama inside of the cabin. So, yeah, it's an interesting concept, but they could have probably worked a bit more on the manual feel when you switch the gearbox towards sport program and you use the plus and minus on the steering wheel. But as I said, other than those things that are most of the time quite minor, there's not much to complain about. All in all, it's an interesting offering. It's different. As I said, I enjoyed it. I would have enjoyed owning something like this, or maybe a bit newer. But even so, that's also an interesting point. We are more used to, obviously, with some of the European models, and it's easily to spot the differences between generations. But if you look at this car from outside, you would not know that it's from 2017. It seems to be a bit newer than that. And yeah, again, that's a plus in my opinion. It feels and it looks sophisticated. That's my take from it. So yeah, that's gonna be it in terms of the review. I'm not gonna bother comparing it with the C-Class, the BMW, the A4 S60 from Volvo, or the Giulia from Alfa Romeo, because I forgot about that one, because they each have some interesting thing going for them. It depends on the configuration, obviously. So yeah, in the end, it's a matter of preference, of choice. Anyway, if you enjoyed what you saw, please like the video and consider subscribing to the channel because it's free. I would like to see your impressions in the comment section. And as usual, until next time, thank you for watching.